All right, in this lesson, we'll take a look at 5 more functions or methods that are available on the VBA object. As a reminder, these functions help us be more productive as developers. They exist so we don't have to write all of this functionality from scratch. I'll begin by defining a new procedure. I'll call it More Fun with VBA Functions. And we'll notice this time around that some of these, again, are very similar to equivalent functions on the Excel interface. For example, we have a left function right here. And what left does is it accepts 2 arguments. The first, as we can see here, is a string, and the second is a number, we can see that with the long, that represents the number of characters that we want to take from the left side of the string. So for example, if I had a phone number like 555-555-5555, and I wanted to extract the area code, which is the very first 3 digits, in order to do that, I can just put a 3 here. This means the first 3 characters of the string that's passed in as the first argument. So when I execute this, we're going to get a value here of 555. If I replace this with something like 2, we're only going to get the first 2 characters, 55. And the same logic works with as many characters as we want to put in here and as long as the string is. We have an equivalent function here called right. Right works in reverse. It takes characters from the right end of the string. So for example, if I had some address, California 90210, and I wanted to get the zip code is always the last 5 characters of an address. What I can do to get the last 5 characters from the right side of the string is use the right method, give it the string. I want 5 characters from the end. When I execute this, we can see here's 90210, that represents the last 5 characters. If instead I wanted to get both the zip code and the state, remember that it's not just these 2 plus these 5, I also have to account for the space in between here. So this is a total of 8 characters. So if I put 8 here, I'm going to get the last 8 characters from the string, and that's going to be equal to CA90210. Our next function here is going to be mid. So left takes from the left side of the string or the beginning, right takes from the right side of the string or the end, and we also have the mid function which takes from the middle of a string. The first thing we give here is, again, the string that we're going to be pulling out from. But this time we're going to need to provide 2 arguments. The first is going to be the starting point, which is going to be the position that we want to begin extracting from, and the second argument is how many characters we want to take from that position. So we have to be really careful because the starting position is going to be included in the number of characters that we pull out. For example, let's say I have the string Mr. Excel and I want to pull out the word Excel. M is going to be 1, R is going to be 2, the period is number 3, the space is character number 4, and the capital E where I want to start is character number 5. So the first argument here that I want to put is 5. That means start at position 5. Start at that capital E in this string. The second argument that I put here is the number of characters that I want to pull out, including that starting position. So if I'm starting at E as my 5th position, I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my second argument here is also going to be 5. So when I execute this, let me just remove all my code from the immediate window, I'm going to get a value of Excel. I've pulled that out. If I only wanted, let's say, EXC, of course, all I have to do there is just replace this with 3. That means start at position number 5, pull out 3 characters from that position, so we're going to get EXC. All right, pretty simple stuff. 2 more functions remain in this lesson. The first one is called string reverse. It's going to be str. So again, just an abbreviated version of string, capital S, capital R, reverse. String reverse takes a string like straw and gives you the reverse. So the string as if it's flipped around from the end to the beginning. So if we take a look at this, what is the word straw backwards? As it turns out, it's actually worts. So you can see the S has been moved to the end, the T has been second from the end, etc. The string has basically been flipped around, a mirror image of it. All right, and finally, the last one I want to show you here is called replace. This is exactly like the control find functionality in the Excel interface whenever you want to look for all of the values and replace them with something else. So the first thing we want to do is provide a string, and this is the string that we're actually going to be replacing something in. So let's say I have a telephone number here like 555-555-5555, and I've separated the area code and the numbers here with a space. And let's say I want to replace all of those spaces with a dash. How would I do that? The second argument after the string in the replace function is the character that I want to search for, the character that I want to be replaced. So what do I want to search for in this string? I want to search for an empty space character. So I'm just going to do double quotes with 1 space between them. I'm going to put a comma. And finally, my third argument, as we can see here, is replace. Replace is also going to be a string, and this represents what I want to use to actually fill in the gap. What I want to use to replace the space or whatever character I've specified as the previous argument. So what do I want to replace the space by? I want to replace it with a dash. So I can do this, close my function call with the parentheses. So when I execute this, we're going to see this number, and we're going to replace all the spaces, first argument, with a dash, second argument. So right here at 5, you can see it's been replaced with a dash. We can replace it with something else. For example, if I want to look for still a space but replace it with an exclamation point, we can see this. There we go, we've replaced all the spaces with exclamation points. Or if I want to look for something different, that's my first argument. So if I want to replace every occurrence of the character 5 with an exclamation point, I just switch that around. And there we go, we just get this bizarre string of exclamation points. All right, so that's all there is to cover in this lesson. We have left, which extracts characters from the left side of a string. We give it the string and the number of characters. We have right, which also takes a string and extracts this number of characters from the right side. We have the mid function. It's another text function, accepts a string, then the starting position of the first character you want to start pulling out. And including that position, the second argument is how many actual characters we want to pull out. We have string reverse with a shorthand here of str. That takes a string as an argument and gives you the string reversed, flipped around. And finally replace, which replaces a certain number of characters with whatever you specify. We give it the string, we give it the character or characters that we're looking to replace, and then what we want to replace them with. That's the third argument. That's all there is to cover here. I'll see you in the next lesson.